Good morning, everyone. Thank you very much for joining us. It's a pleasure to have you all today attending this wonderful webinar for sharing experience as well as business opportunities in two of the most prominent and fast-growing halal markets in the world, the United Arab Emirates and Indonesia. My name is Tomas Guerrero. I'm the manager of the Halal Trade and Marketing Center in Dubai, a global business development center co-founded by the Dubai Airport Free Zone Authority, along with the Dubai Islamic Economic Development Center, and focus on the halal economy opportunities for the industry. Today, I will be conducting the full program, delivering a presentation about the rise of the halal market, and moderating also the panel discussion. Well, let's start the session inviting His Excellency Mr. Hussein Bagis, Ambassador of the Republic of Indonesia in the UAE, to deliver the opening remarks. His Excellency, please, the floor is yours.
Excellency Mr. Abdul Rahim, Senior Advisor to Assistant Director General of Dubai Free Zone Authority, Excellencies, all the speakers to this conference, distinguished guests, participants, ladies and gentlemen. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. First of all, I would like to express my thanks to the organizer of this conference, the Emirate and Indonesia Halal markets, sharing experiences and business opportunities. It is indeed such an important issue that we should pay our attention to it for several reasons. First, Indonesia and Emirates respectively played a significant role in contributing the fast-growing of global halal market through the process of production of halal products in several different halal sectors and its distribution to the global market. Second, Indonesia now is willing to increase its position to become the largest halal producer and exporter in the world by 2024. To that end, the government is currently developing many halal industrial zones to draw the attention of foreign investors and drive domestic halal production. The third, the future of the global market, halal market is promising, and according to the Observer, is projected to cross $2.2 billion by 2030. Honorable Speaker and participant, to materialize a strong cooperation between Indonesia and Emirates in halal sector, I do hope that this conference can come with clear and applicable recommendation both for respective government and businessmen. Once again, I would like to thank all of you, especially the organizer of this conference, and I pray to Almighty Allah Subhanahu wa Taala to bless you all with success and health. Stay safe and health. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you very much, His Excellency, for your insightful remarks. Now, let's continue with the welcome remarks from Mr. Abdul Rahim Nabi, Senior Advisor to Assistant Director General at the Dubai Airport Free Zone Authority. Mr. Abdul Rahim, please, the floor is now yours.
Thank you, Tomas. Thank you, Your Excellency. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is because I know we have a global audience from all over the world. It's a pleasure for me to be here amongst all of you today. My name is Abdul Rahim, and I'm there as a Senior Advisor to the Assistant Director General of Dubai Airport Free Zone Authority, DAFZA. And first of all, I would like to express my sincere thanks to His Excellency, Mr. Hussein Bagis, the Ambassador at the Embassy of the Republic of Indonesia in the United Arab Emirates, for accepting the invitation to be a part of this very relevant and enriching webinar for the future of the UAE and Indonesia trade relations, as well as for his enlightening words and leadership thoughts that actually motivate us all to strengthen and increase the trade exchange between both the countries. It's a privilege also for me to have the chance to meet with these team panelists, as well as so many of our business associates, colleagues and friends who join us from our partners in diplomacy, trade and development from Indonesia, as well as the rest of the world. Today, ties between Indonesia and the UAE are closer than ever, with a shared vision for economic growth, taking bilateral relations between the two countries to new levels. Solid foundations and strategies are in place to grow even closer in the coming months. We plan to engage further with key trade partners and stakeholders to bring this vision into a reality. Being present here today marks an important step and opportunity, I would say, to explore new prospects and learn about the potential for further collaboration and business, especially within the halal market. As with most sectors, the halal market has been disrupted, as we all know, due to the current socio-economic circumstances. With Indonesia housing, Your Excellency, the largest global Muslim population worldwide, we are working towards contributing to the activation of the different sectors, such as the food, pharmaceuticals, and cosmetics, where there are immense opportunities to capture thus far and going into the future. Our prospects for success and growth remain optimistic. With the domestic spending across halal economy products and services in Indonesia projected to reach $330.5 billion by year 2025. To highlight and celebrate our experiences, I will take you through the most recent milestones that we have collectively achieved together. To begin with, I think it's important to note that the UAE and Indonesia enjoy a strong trade and investment relationship with the two countries, among the, being in the IMF's 2018 top 30 economies when it comes to measuring ourselves by nominal GDP. And during 2018, the UAE was Indonesia's 19th largest export destination country and 30th largest country as a source of imports. The ties between the United Arab Emirates and Indonesia have since been growing significantly, with bilateral trade between the two countries reaching $1.17 billion for the period Jan to April 2019, representing a 2.2% increase compared to the same period in 2018. The successful efforts in growing the halal sector is attributed to the versatility and reputation of Indonesia's attractive economic landscape. The country offers companies relevant business opportunities in different halal sectors, including F&B and cosmetics, with Indonesia being home to some of the largest and most successful halal conglomerates in the world, such as Indofood or the Wardas. As for the United Arab Emirates, the country has played a vital role as a global halal trading hub and is consistently growing, preserving, and creating awareness around the sector. The halal sector also. Strategically located, Dubai is at the center of trade of the 57 OIC Muslim majority countries, representing $296 billion worth of halal-related industrial sector opportunity in terms of imports. The city also houses state-of-the-art technical and logistics infrastructure, as well as a disruptive government mindset that we have all seen with the mission to Mars yesterday. Stakeholders, I would say, such as the Dubai Islamic Economy Development Center or the Halal Trade and Marketing Center and the Free Zones, have fostered the development of the halal market and supported this with investments, regulatory, and the socio-economic ecosystems that are much needed today. In our many years of working together, we have found that the two countries are highly complementary to one another. Indonesia's strong manufacturing capabilities in producing halal products, paired with the UAE state-of-the-art logistics facility, is a recipe that is bound for success. Today, we delved into current investment policies, economic and trade regulations, and explore ways to create mutually beneficial agreements. We look forward to celebrating our previous experiences and opportunities and unlocking new ones. I would like to thank you all, everybody, for listening, and I wish you a pleasant webinar ahead. Tomas, the floor to you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Abdurrahim, for also your inspiring words. Now, after these amazing remarks from His Excellency Mr. Abdurrahim, let's continue with the program. Well, now I will share with all of you a brief presentation about the state of the halal market globally, in order to allow the participants to better understand its regulation, as well as its major trends and the opportunities. Let me. Well, this is the presentation. I have prepared a brief one in order to introduce the the session. Let me start because maybe there are people among the attendees that they don't know what means halal. Let me start the presentation defining the halal concept. Well, halal, as many of you already know, is an Arabic term meaning lawful as per the Islamic law, okay? The Islamic economy, as many of you already know, is composed of sector whose core products and services are affected by the Islamic law, such as food that must be halal, finance that must be Sharia compliant, or fashion that must be modest. Well, now I would like also to highlight something relevant to understand this fast-growing market. A few decades ago, this market was not regulated. The halal certification was only mandatory for food, especially for meat products. But today, the situation is totally different, and we have in place a comprehensive halal legal framework with different regulatory authorities for regulating, for organizing this market. Well, in the halal legal framework, we have three different types of organizations. First of all, we have the halal standardization bodies in the Muslim majority countries. They are the organizations in charge of setting the rules for this market in their countries, okay? Then we also have in the Muslim majority countries, in the 57 ones, the halal accreditation bodies, which are the organizations responsible for controlling that the halal certification bodies worldwide are certifying according to the halal standards in their countries, okay? And finally, we have the halal certification bodies. Responsible, as many of you already know, of auditing the companies. They are in charge of controlling or checking that the companies are producing halal goods according to the halal standards, okay, to the current ones. Well, the halal market is growing so fast, and from the regulation point of view, as we saw, we have a strong framework with different halal authorities regulating this business niche, but we have a small issue currently or nowadays, because we don't have a global halal standard for regulating this market, okay? We have different rules, we have different standards, different laws for regulating the same market. Hopefully, we have also, beyond those halal authorities, we also have now different initiatives in order to harmonize all the halal regulations in order to facilitate companies, especially in the non-Muslim majority countries, the possibility to better understand the requirement that they need to fulfill when they want to get the halal certification and then produce and export their halal goods to the Muslim majority countries. Well, among those initiatives, we have the International Halal Accreditation Forum here in the UAE, as well as the Islamic initiative. The Islamic is the standardization body for the 57 OIC countries. Both initiatives, as I already mentioned, are trying to come with a harmonized halal regulation in order to facilitate companies to go ahead with their halal businesses. Okay. Well, once we know or we saw the halal legal framework, I think it's also relevant today to highlight the drivers or the key factors behind the success and growing of this halal market, of this business niche. No? Well, nowadays we have basically three factors explaining the fast growing of this market. First of all, we have a demographic driver, okay? As you can see in this slide, nowadays we have a large and fast-growing Muslim population. Nowadays we have around 1.8 billion Muslim population across the world, and according to the latest publication, in 2030, we will be reaching 2.2 billion mostly Muslim population. As I told you, this is one of the main factors behind the success of the halal markets, because as you can see and understand, we have a large population, we have a fast growing one, the number of people demanding and consuming halal is growing so fast. Then we have a second factor also for explaining the success of the halal market. Well, the vast of the Muslim population across the world is living in emerging countries, in nations with fast growth and from the economic point of view, you know, the Muslim majority countries, many of them are leading the economic growth worldwide. And that's obviously another reason, another factor explaining the growth experienced by the halal market. And finally, obviously, and as a result of the growth of the economic growth of the Muslim majority countries, we have a third factor explaining the success of the halal market across the world. Obviously, that economic growth in the Muslim majority countries is also generating the emerging of Muslim middle classes. The Muslim population, as a result of the economic growth experienced by the Muslim majority countries, are gaining power of purchase, and for the reason they are demanding, they are consuming more and more halal goods and services. Well, once we have clear the halal legal framework, as well as the drivers or factors boosting the growth of the halal market, I would like to finalize this presentation also introducing a brief overview about the status of the Islamic economy or the sectors, the halal related sectors, okay? As you can see in this slide, obviously the food and beverage halal sector is still the largest in terms of volume and business opportunities. By the way, in 2019, this sector, the F&B one reached $1.1 trillion. But beyond the F&B sector, we have, as you can see, more business opportunities. As you can see, halal is not only related to food, is something affecting also other business sectors, and for this reason, companies can find business opportunities in sectors, in different sectors such as modest fashion, cosmetics, or pharma. And well, now I will finalize this presentation also sharing with all of you the same slide with the estimations, the latest one for 2024, in order to show you how this market will be growing in the next few years. And you can see this slide is remaining the same in terms of format, but the numbers are changed. And if you see, or if you check the data, you will see that all the halal related sector will be growing a lot in the next few years. Why? Because of the key drivers that we saw before, that are the ones boosting and developing the halal market. And well, with this presentation, I would like to finalize my speech. For now, giving again the floor to Mr. Abdurrahim Gulam Nabi from the Dubai Professional Authority. He will be now also delivering a brief and comprehensive presentation for sharing with all of us the whole Dubai could work as a global trade hub for companies worldwide, and especially for the Indonesian ones. Mr. Abdurrahim, please, the floor is yours.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Tomas, I think you should be able to see my screen.
Yes, Abdurrahim, we can see your screen.
Okay, thank you. Good morning, everyone. Once again, it's a pleasure and honor to be here with all of you again today, sharing some relevant thoughts and insights about the future of the halal industry and the new market opportunities for the Indonesian companies. Let me start by giving a quick overview of the flow of my presentation today. We begin with a larger overview of the global halal economy, Islamic opportunity, then the Indonesian halal market as a growth engine for the rest of the world. We delve a little bit more into and talk a bit about Dubai, the UAE, and its competitive strengths, and look especially at Dubai's vision of becoming the capital of the Islamic economy. We also have the opportunity with the panelists today, as well as at the same time to look at global diverse case studies out of Dubai and out of Indonesia that demonstrate success and how this represents an opportunity for companies in Indonesia as well as globally. I'll talk a little bit more about Dubai and how it lies at the intersection of key trade flows when it comes to the halal Islamic economy opportunity as well. Let me start a little bit about talking a bit about Dubai Airport Free Zone Authority, where I reside and where the organization that I'm working for. DAFZA was established in year 1996 as a part of the Dubai government strategy to become an investment-driven economy. Today, we have more than 1,700 companies operating out of our special economic zone, belonging to more than 20 different sectors, and more than 15,000 professionals working in our community. Collectively, the special economic zones and collectively these companies actually contribute in excess of AED 164 billion AED, that is US dollars 45 billion to Dubai's foreign trade. So what is a special economic zone? It's basically a one-stop shop for international investors, providing them with licenses, workspaces, visas, and a host of incentives and benefits that companies can utilize to expand into the MENA region. Going forward and getting an overview of the halal or the Islamic economy opportunity, as you can very well be able to see on your screen, I would like to say that, and to set the context right, I think it's important to start with the definition for the halal or the Islamic economy. It represents sectors whose core products and services are structurally affected by Islamic values. So, for example, in the case of food, it has to be halal. In the case of finance, it has to be Sharia compliant. And in the case of fashion, it has to apply for modesty principles. Having said that, the Islamic economy or halal trade is not only meant for the Muslims, but something which is more universal, wholesome, consumable, accepted universally now as a better choice for consumers. We have 6 core industry sectors, excluding finance, and basically focusing on the product-related sectors. You can see that collectively these sectors represent a $2.2 trillion opportunity in terms of Muslim spending, which is 12% of global spending in the same sectors. Having said that, from a growth perspective, the story is quite strong with a CAGR of 6.2%. And this again does not reflect the impact of the pandemic. However, going into 2021, as well as moving forward, we do see the market coming back to the same levels. We must also keep in mind that when we look at the OIC growth as compared to the global segments, again, this is much higher, illustrating more opportunities for the sector as well as the company. Coming into and looking a bit at Indonesia, Indonesia is a powerhouse in the halal space when it comes to a lot of factors, right? Number one, they have the largest Muslim population, 219 odd million. They have a very, very strong halal participants, as well as they have an extremely strong ecosystem enabling players that contribute to the economy as a whole. The opportunity, obviously, they have many opportunities as they advance their production capacities and they move forward. They have a strong domestic market opportunity. They also have an export opportunity abroad. And Indonesian halal certified companies, we believe, can take advantage as halal compliance adds a unique flavor and an export advantage to them, which is not readily available for other countries or other non-Muslim majority countries when we look at it as such. Thirdly, I think there is an important import substitution opportunity also, as you can see on the slide, by increasing the national production and hence reducing reliance on imports. The key opportunity where the OIC is also a net importer countries, all of them, and Indonesian companies need to increase supply potentially by using Dubai and the United Arab Emirates as a re-export hub to boost their exports, thereby improve their balance of payment surpluses, as well as become a leader in the global halal space. I would like to, again, just highlight the source for this slide. It's from the Indonesian Halal Economy and Strategy Roadmap, which was done by our partners, the Indonesia Halal Life Center and Dinar Standards. So we thank them for allowing us to use this information. Moving forward, now that we have a view about Indonesia as well as the global halal economy, let's talk a little bit more about Dubai. So Dubai, as you can see on the slide, is the Middle East and the United Arab Emirates is a key hub, right? It's a key hub, trade and logistics hub. It has rankings in all different areas, and it's also ranked at #1 in terms of ease of doing business for the rest of the world. So an extremely lucrative and best place sort of you to advance your internationalization or globalization efforts. The other very relevant point when we talk about the halal economy specifically is that within a 2-hour flight radius, Dubai has an access to $578 billion in consumer spending. And this is actually a core, and it's actually an anchor as to why Dubai plays a major role when it comes to halal trade. And if you go beyond this 2-hour flight radius, you can also see, when you look at the OIC countries, it has an additional $296 billion worth of import opportunity as well. So yes, we are, the United Arab Emirates is a re-export hub, and this is well known in terms of connectivity and being able to serve different markets in the East and the West, and creating that connectivity and the bridge for, supply lines to go through. I think the storyline is quite important here, and if I can very quickly go into how it all started. This all started with the vision of His Highness Sheikh Mohammed bin Rashid Al Maktoum, the Vice President and Prime Minister and ruler of Dubai. When he launched the vision for Dubai to become the capital of the global Islamic economy, and in fact, the Islamic economy was launched as another pillar of the government strategy. And this led to the establishment of the Dubai Islamic Economy Development Center. We are very proud to be associated with them. It's the program management office which is responsible for actually enacting this vision into a reality. Their strategy framework, the ones that you can see on your screen, is primarily has 3 key pillars where they activate the initiatives under these pillars with different stakeholders across Dubai and the United Arab Emirates, and DAFZA and the Halal Trade and Marketing Center and other entities are a part of the stakeholder set. So they have Islamic finance, halal industry, and Islamic lifestyle, and these are supported by the infrastructure horizontal pillars, which are Islamic knowledge, Islamic standards, and the digital economy. Within the vibrant ecosystem of Dubai, as is the case of Indonesia, as you saw in the slide, we have a lot of active stakeholders who are actively engaged in supporting the Islamic economy. So, a lot of entities in Dubai, and the United Arab Emirates are coming together to make sure that, all the nuts and bolts and all the initiatives fall into play. And then we have a measurable, tangible impact on what we're trying to achieve. So I can't go through all of them. You can see them on the slide, and I'm sure that there are more that have been added. But yes, I would like to name a few, specifically the Global Islamic Economy Summit, which is going to happen along the sidelines of the Expo, and we invite all of you to attend that. We have the State of the Global Islamic Economy report issued by Dinar Standard, which is the global reference report. We also have Salam Gateway, which is the leading halal industry news and insights channel. So a lot of stakeholders and a lot of initiatives. And also I must mention, that the UAE halal compliance ecosystem, is quite well established as well to support the movement of goods and the facilitation of trade. In terms of success cases, I think this is an extremely critical point, and I'm sure the panelists will shed a lot of light on this as we move forward. But very, very quickly, we have a lot of success cases out of Dubai as well as Indonesia. When we look at, for example, Fonterra, this is from New Zealand, a food industry player that is into the dairy ingredients businesses. And, they're a global entity that export tremendous amounts to the MENA region and the OIC countries. And yet they leverage halal not only from a pure compliance perspective point of view, but also as a growth driver to advance their company's agenda. We also have the case of Abbott Lab, is a pharma company and a major global player. They are again, they have capitalized on the halal ecosystem to grow their business lines and their markets that they are actually attracting. They are actually based out of Dubai. And again, we have the case of Hershey's, for example, which is a very well-known brand and have halal compliance across the world. We are proud to have them in DAFZA. They're a company who's established with us. And again, something you can clearly see that they have gone to different dots and different places to make sure that they have the halal compliance to be able to reach the export markets. When we come and talk about the success cases in Indonesia, this is, amazing story also. Yeah, they have many success cases, and strong companies and producers, when you look at different sectors, whether it be food, cosmetics, pharma, fashion, e-commerce. And it is clear that there is a massive case that can be made for globalization of these companies. And, we would love to see these brands in Dubai as well as the UAE, and, for them to be able to serve the rest of the region through here. So, we have in the case of food, we have Indofood. In the case of e-commerce, we have Tokopedia. Pharmaceuticals, we've got Simrise and Calbe, and we've got Nuri Sport, the Indonesian market halal hijab firm, so on and so forth. So immense number of brands that actually are very, very renowned and very, very big and have a huge potential in terms of market opportunity. A little bit more about, the OIC opportunity, the Organization for Islamic Countries. We have 57 of them. And, when we look at all these sectors, right, there is a huge trade dependency when it comes to the OIC countries because they're net importers. We talked about the $296 billion opportunity when it comes to the OIC countries, but that can be coupled with the growth in the Muslim population, as well as the global spending on food and beverages, apparel, media, recreation, and other categories that is, just massive as well. I won't be able to talk about all of these categories, but just to give the audience an example, if I look at the halal food, trade dependency, you can see on your slide, it represents the greatest chunk of the opportunity. $212 billion worth of food was imported into the OIC countries, and hence the opportunity is extremely large. You can also see the major exporters and importers, where the UAE stood at 16.6 billion. In terms of imports, and this is massive, right? Obviously, it's not meant for our United Arab Emirates. Most of it is coming in and getting re-exported. So it's quite visible that we are a trade hub. However, what we would like to see, and what makes a lot of sense, is to see, Indonesia shift from an import base to a key source market, and supplying to the OIC as well as to the rest of the world. The next slide, shows Indonesia's share of export to the OIC countries. Again, the source is IHLC and in our standard strategy. You can see that their halal sectors compared to other countries such as UAE or Malaysia is comparatively lesser when we look at the variables such as massive production. The massive production capabilities that Indonesia has, the large population and huge consumer spending power. Hence, again, it would be ideal to increase this ratio, where Dubai, the UAE, and DAFZA can be an ideal base for Indonesian companies to capitalize on this opportunity, right? Definitely the power is there. It's just a matter of activating initiatives so that these can actually get converted into reality, or initiatives that would have a sizable impact on the trade and the volumes. So, with this, I would like to, and in the interest of time, and I know that there is an exciting panel there, I would like to thank everybody for joining the presentation, and I hope that you enjoyed it. With this, I would like to pass the floor to my colleague, Mr. Thomas Guerrero, who's the moderator, and I wish you a very enriching, insightful panel, and hopefully these presentations, the ones that are being set out for the audience, will give a good base for the panel discussion to happen. Thank you for listening, and thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you very much, Mr. Abdurrahim, for your enriching presentation. Now, we have another one from Mr. Mark Alonso Pinos, Managing Director of DAFZA, about the opportunities in Indonesia. Please, Mr. Mark, the floor is yours.
Hello, good morning to everyone. Thomas, thank you for the introduction. Well, today we are gonna talk about some of the opportunities in Indonesia, especially for halal certified products. And by the other side, we will also explain how from DAFZA we can help the companies to sell and commercialize their products successfully in the market. It's not an easy market. There's a lot of barriers, a lot of things we need to know. So in that aspect, the DAFZA can help any company. So well, from DAFZA, we are a market entry consultancy. Basically, what we do is helping in the internationalization processes for foreign companies who wants to sell the products in Indonesia, and we have been doing this for 7 years already. We have been working for several industries, including also food and beverage, sports, pharmaceutical, and medicine. Also, we have experience with cosmetics. Well, basically, what we can do to help the companies. Well, we divide our services in two areas. We can help them in the export services and also in the investment. Inside the export services, we try to be very simple because we believe the export is not so difficult, in the sense what we do is we first provide the market analysis and market research, very simple. We just try to find what are the regulatory barriers, who are the players, what is the distribution channel, what are the margins in the channel, all the information that you need to first approach the market. Then once we have clear what we do, we help the companies find an importer, find a distributor for them, which can help them to distribute the product successfully. And then we also, besides this, we have a complete range of sales support services for the companies. Then for the companies who wants to not only to export, but wants to have a better control of the products in the market, and they want to control the distribution channel, they want to control the marketing actions, the generation of the demand. We also have our investment services, which basically can provide and we can support in all the different areas that the company entering the market needs. So, well, I would like to comment a couple of successful cases that we have had on how we can help. We have chosen two clients that are in complex industries, which need complex regulatory approvals. First is Nova Frixa. Nova Frixa is a beef slaughterhouse. They belong to Coren Group, which is the biggest food manufacturing company in Spain. What we help this company is first, we help the company to be able to be approved to export to Indonesia. We then help to certify halal the slaughterhouse. And after it was certified halal, then we find several importers that were interested to import their meat. And nowadays, Nova Frixa is selling from 6,000 to 8,000 tons per year, and actually have achieved the maximum capacity, and they cannot sell more because actually the slaughterhouse doesn't have the capacity to sell more. Then another client we have also helped successfully in the market is Laboratories Ordesa. I have chose this company because it's not a common case, because it's actually a food product with milk for babies, but actually the way you sell this product is not like a normal food product. It's more like a medicine, like a drug, because in order for the consumers to use this product, you need medical prescription. And actually the registration of the product is a bit more complex than a normal food product. So in this case, the start was quite similar. We did the research, we find the regulatory barriers, then we help them overpass that barriers. The company, well, first Spain was approved to be able to export milk by Kesmavet, which belongs to the Ministry of Agriculture. Then we help the dairy plant to be audited and approved, halal certification again. And then we find a distributor. We help them negotiate the agreement with the distributor. And after it was agreed, we also were able to create the company, create the team, and create a team of medical sales, and generate the demand, through the prescription of the doctors, which is not easy. Okay, so well, that's just a couple of cases of what we can do. Then I think the most important thing I would like to comment today is that, well, from last year, the Halal Trade and Marketing Center had an agreement with us with the idea of encouraging and helping the companies and your partners to help them to export to Indonesia. So therefore, well, we would like to communicate this, and that from now on we are at the disposal for you, and we are looking forward to help all your members to sell the product successfully in Indonesia. Well, I would like now to focus in the opportunities in Indonesia. First, very brief, why Indonesia is so interesting. I have summarized it in 4 points. First is the fourth biggest country by population in the world, so definitely is attractive for any company that wants to join that wants to enter the market. It's a big volume. Secondly, is the biggest economy in Southeast Asia. And also Indonesia is the biggest Muslim majority country by GDP in the world. Number 3 is actually a protectionist country. It's a country that is protecting their industry. They are looking for the self-sufficiency, and therefore there is a lot of non-tariff barriers. Why I see this as an opportunity is because it's very complex to start to sell in the market and to get the licenses. But once you get those licenses, actually you are protected, and those barriers will actually protect you from competitors. And what you find is then when you overpass them, you will find not too many competitors and a huge market and huge opportunities. And then number 4 is a rising economy with increasing middle class. Their society and their consumers open to imported products. And also is a very young population. So we expect that thanks to that young population that steadily will incorporate to the labor market, which will continue to increase the GDP of the country. Of course, if the pandemic let us know, but I mean, the prospect is good and it's a very young population. Okay, so then I want to share some opportunities in food, cosmetics, and pharma. I have selected these industries because there is a lot of volume and there is growth, and I think there's interesting industries to consider for exporting. Well, inside the food and beverage is actually a sector with increase in the sense that the imports are growing. And then in this case, I'm showing the food services consumption by GDP in $1 billion. And you can see that not only the imports are growing, but also the added value products. No, what the food services that normally is more added value products is also growing. So people is also going more to restaurants and to the food services. Then the cosmetics industry is also growing. Actually, the cosmetics as you can see, has a bigger growth. Until 2014, it was growing almost 10% per year. Now the percentage is the total percentage of growth is a bit lower, but you can see that in absolute terms, in absolute values, the growth is very big, especially in the revenue on the industry and the consumption per population. Then the imports are also growing. In this case, we see there are some trends. It's not so steady, but in general lines, if you see the last 10 years, the growth has been quite significant, especially in beauty products, makeups and skin cares. There is a huge demand and a huge volume. Also, thanks to the young population that it has, it's a sector that we expect that is continue to grow. And then, well, hair preparations and soap a bit smaller, but also opportunities and also growth. Then pharmaceutical industry is also growing. Actually, Indonesia has to import most of the medicines and drugs that they consume. There are some local factories, but almost all these local factories, they belong to foreign groups. So either by investment or by export is dominated by foreign companies. So this, I think there's opportunities in this industry. And well, just to finish, then I would like to comment some of one of the barriers and regulations that you need to overpass for all these 3 products. So both for food and beverage, cosmetics and pharma, the products need to be registered in BPOM. BPOM is the National Agency of Drug and Food Control of Indonesia. And in order to export to the market, it's compulsory to register in this agency. In order to register, the registration needs to be done by an importer company, an Indonesian company, and this company needs to already be registered in this BPOM. And then also important for the halal, that actually this is a topic on itself, but I just want to explain it very briefly. Well, now there is a new halal certified body that is the BPGPH, and actually there has been a change in the regulation in the last years. And as a summary, well, all the food and beverage products that that is possible to certify them halal, they should be halal by 2024. So any food products or any company that wants to export the food products and that product is possible to certify halal, they need to be halal by 2024. That means that also there will be a change in some of the suppliers, because not all the food products nowadays are halal, and some of them will not be able to get this certification. So that means that for the products that they already certify halal, there is a lot of opportunities. It will happen the same for the health supplement products by 2026. Cosmetics is also included. Then OTC products also will be mandatory to be halal certified by 2029. And finally, the prescriptive drugs and medicines will be mandatory to be halal certified by the year 2034. So again, for me, this is a great opportunity for companies that already has the halal certification. So, well, I really encourage the companies that they are competitive in these sectors to try to export the products and services to the Indonesian market. Well, that's all from my side. Thomas, thank you very much for the opportunity. And if someone wants further information, we can contact you or us. Please feel free. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Mac, for your insightful presentation. Well, now, as you know, we have a wonderful panel discussion. Obviously, the data shown by Mr. Abdurrahim and Mr. Mark will help us a lot for generating an interesting enriching debate, as well as to me for introducing moderating the panel about unlocking business opportunities in Indonesia and the UAE. Well, now and before to start with the questions to our relevant panelists today, let me introduce them to all of you. Today we are also privileged to have as speakers worldwide recognized halal experts from Indonesia and the UAE. So I'm sure that we will be having an interesting, productive conversation. Well, first of all, I would like to start introducing Mr. Budi Priantoro. He is the head of economic affairs at the Consulate General of Indonesia in Dubai. I would like to start asking him some questions. Mr. Priantoro, as we saw in the previous presentations, Indonesia and the United Arab Emirates are complementary markets. I think it's clear. So we would like to know what actions are you taking to strengthen the trade between both countries, as well as how you see this trade relationship in the coming future.
Yes, thank you very much, Thomas. ¿Cómo estás? ¿Todo bien?
Bien.
Thank you very much for this very, very good opportunity. Because actually, but first of all, okay, allow me to start. His Excellency Ambassador Husin Bagis, he cannot join until the rest of the program due to other programs that he already committed to. Okay, so thank you very much, Mr. Okay, I have some colleagues here also, Mr. Abdurrahim. It's good also to see you, sir. Okay, I hope we are all stay safe and remain strong during this pandemic. And relating to your question, back to your question, Mr. Thomas. Actually, yes, you are right. Indonesia and the United Arab Emirates, they are complementary. By this, I mean that we would like to supply the needs actually for halal products in Dubai, because I believe there is a vast opportunity here in Dubai. I note that the estimation of halal products globally will grow up to $7.7 trillion by 2030. So Indonesia would like to make, to have a piece of cake of this potential. So that's why we at the Consulate General of Indonesia always support if there should be any visit from Indonesian buyers or sellers coming to UAE and vice versa also. Like for example, you said that we are complementary. Yes, we participate, we support the buyers, the exporters of Indonesia in participating in some of the events in Dubai. For example, like the last time back in September 2019, we support the Indonesia Halal Lifestyle Center visit to Dubai. And we note there are some opportunities to be explored here. And we made some kind of also preliminary negotiations. And by far, I guess it will have fruitful results, because I can see that Indonesia, as you may know, Indonesia is a very potential market, just like Mr. Mark Alonso Pinos mentioned. Thank you, Mr. Alonso. You have, Mr. Pinos, Senior, you have done a good job, because it will make it easier, to promote Indonesia, and also to, to invite Indonesian exporters to come to the UAE. So actually, coming to that also, just the other day, I also received news that the Prime Minister of the UAE, Sheikh Mohammed himself, Al Maktoum, Sheikh Mohammed Al Maktoum, also had, His Highness had already invited our president to come in November 2021 to attend the Global Islamic Economic Summit. And in at the same time also, the same month in November, we are going to host also the Halal Industry Summit Indonesia. So you can see that by being the host of these two important halal Sharia economic events, it means Indonesia and UAE is also doing some complementary things, because as you may know that Indonesia would like to become the global hub of the world's halal product. So that's why we try to attract, we try to invite all the potential, exporters to come to Indonesia, and vice versa. We also would like to export our halal goods to others. So we kind of like check and balance system. And as you may know that another thing, sir, sorry, I would like also to add. We have also the Indonesia aims to hold up growth of that inclusive and sustainable and inclusive growth. So that's why we would like to push our counterparts in halal products to grow. That's it. That's for now. I mean, sorry I'm taking much time, because I have so much to share, because I'm so very happy today.
That's great. Thank you very much, Mr.
Thank you.
Pedro, for sharing the data, as well as those great news about the strengthening of the trade relationships between both countries. I'm sure that in the future we'll be also seeing more good news as a result of the efforts that you mentioned. Well, now let me continue with the panel discussion. I would like now to introduce also Mr. Sahid Khan. He's the Chief Executive Officer at Al-Islami Foods. Well, Mr. Khan, Al-Islami, as many of the attendees know, has become a global reference in the halal food space. For this reason, we would like to know what has the halal certification mean for your firm, and what future from your point of view awaits for the halal food sector.
I think, Shahid, you're on mute.
Yes.
Assalamu alaikum. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Walaikum salam. Yes, loud.
First of all, I would like to thank you for inviting me on this panel. I've been CEO for Al-Islami Foods for last 1 year. And looking at the history of the company, the journey has been amazing. This is the leader in halal foods for 5 decades now. It was established by Haj Saeed Luta in 1970. He was the founder of Dubai Islamic Bank, Islamic education, as well as it was his vision to bring real halal products in the market. And they started with chicken. And at that time, you know, it was a big struggle to find the right sources to bring the real halal products. So this Al Islami Foods today is one of the largest players in the region in frozen foods, in processed food, in vegetables and fruits and French fries, and also processed food like nuggets, beef burgers, chicken burgers. So we are very well known now in the region all over the GCC. We are getting a lot of requests from other countries to come and enter those markets. So we just got about 6 months ago, we got our new strategy approved, which is to expand Al Islami internationally. So we are looking at 2 things. One is the Muslim countries. So I myself am from Pakistan, another very large country with 220 million population. Indonesia, again, one of the largest countries among the Muslim countries. So we are looking and we are very interested to expand. But our first step is to build ourselves in GCC. So for this, we have re-entered Kuwait with a big force, with new distributors, Oman, Bahrain, and also we are now looking at Saudi Arabia, the right channels to enter. We are also very strong in food service as well as in FMCG, in supermarkets and hypermarkets, etc. So the world is open to us. We are looking at Muslim countries to expand, and we are also looking at the very big number of Muslim diaspora who are living in non-Muslim countries. For them, halal is even a bigger issue. It's not only halal, I know, but for them, really, it's a matter. I mean, I was living when I was posted in Unilever a few years ago, I was in a place called Green Bay, Wisconsin. And every Saturday, I used to drive 4 hours to go and find halal meat to Chicago for my family, you know. So it is not easy. But now things have improved. But you know, brands like Al Islami, we are getting so many requests to find the right partners and right distributors to go and work in the Muslim diaspora in non-Muslim countries like Canada, US, Europe, Australia, South Africa, a lot of places. So yes, I'm open for business because we are now the market leaders in the UAE in all the categories, but we want to now be expanding internationally. So this is my main mission, and that's why I'm very, very impressed with the way the seminar has been organized and to meet very honorable speakers and members in this forum. And I'm open for networking, and I'm open to do business with each and every one of you. So that's where I stand right now.
Thank you so much, Mr. Ham, for sharing your thoughts. We hope to see soon your halal certified products in all the GCC countries, as well as in Indonesia, obviously, because as you mentioned, it's a key market in terms of halal consumption goods. But you mentioned also something relevant. I'm from Spain. Mr. Mark Alonso Pinos is also from Spain. We know that situation that you highlight, no? There are a significant fast-growing Muslim population also in Europe, in US, in non-Muslim majority countries, and they are demanding and looking for halal certified products. And we know that there are also many business opportunities for that Muslim diaspora there. And that's, I think, another good point to bring in order to highlight the halal market, the opportunities also beyond the Muslim majority countries like the UAE or Indonesia. Well, now from Indonesia, we are also have the privilege to count on Mrs. Helianti Hillman, the executive chairperson of Habara, Indonesia. Well, Mrs. Hillman, Habara has a unique value proposition championing fine Indonesian food products. For the reason, I would like to start asking you what have been the biggest challenges for your firm, and if you are selling your F&B products in Dubai or the UAE.
Okay, thank you. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you for having me here. So I think your pronunciation is Spanish, yeah, because you pronounce Javara as Havara. So yes, so Javara Indonesia, basically we have the widest range of certified organic products as well as halal certified. So I think that's our unique proposition, being on the premium market, which combines both organic as well as halal. And actually we go beyond that. We go into more on the toyib part. So not only halal, but halalan toyiban, because I think it's very important that being premium and halal, we also consider how our products can also good for the environment, good for our farmers, and good for the health of our consumers as well. So traditionally, our market, export market is, as you see, is more European market, US, or Australia, or Japan, and things like that. So it's very recent that we started entering the UAE market. I think last year we started to export of our certified organic black rice and red rice. So I think based on the interaction that we have, the challenges is, this is the interesting part, because Uni Emirates Arab, the buying power is high, but the lifestyle for organic and healthy food is not mature yet. So this is the interesting part, because when you see when our products goes to European, they don't put us into the premium store. It's just normal. Everybody wants to have a healthy and organic food products, and they look for something that is affordable. While for these Dubai or Uni Emirates Arab, actually the buying power is there, but it's been quite challenging for us to bring in the healthy or organic aspects of it. So it's more probably driven by the lifestyle. Of course, halal is a prerequisite. It's not a negotiable aspect, but they're more looking into the lifestyle aspects of it rather than on the healthy and organic parts. So feel free if you want to comment, probably Mr. Shahid, on that part, especially since you're a big player on that. So that's one thing. And then, so we started to following how our products has been accepted by the market. So we've been following the social media, the Instagram, and we saw a number of culinary chefs or culinary opinion leaders has been promoting, has been using our organic rice in their cooking, and they tag us. They don't speak much about the organic, the healthy part, but they speak more about how beautiful the taste is and how it is suitable with their, cooking, and they can play around with it. So I think that's the angle that we started to look at when we are entering into that market. Not much for the healthy, but more on the lifestyle, on the foodies kind of thing, on the culinary aspects of it. And another thing, so I think this is more a challenge for our country, for Indonesia. Because as a country, the country's branding itself actually does not support us. Because when people are relating Indonesia with food products, I don't think anybody is relating us with organic or healthy products. It's more like a cheap commodity or industrial processed food that is affordable or cheap, but nothing that relates our branding, our country's branding with organic or premium or healthy. So I think that's a challenge. So we have to fight on our own, basically, because the country branding itself is not there. So it's different when you talk about Japanese food, people think and tend that Japanese food is more healthy, for example. Or if you get products from Italy or France, you tend to see it as a more healthier or organic products. They have that branding, but Indonesia not yet. Yes, we have a branding for halal products, but when we try to pitch more, our unique selling proposition, the premium product is more on the organic, healthy, I don't think it's there. So we have to, I started to talk with our digital marketing team and see how we can help to promote ourselves in the UAE market, but through the digital marketing, because I think that's the only way we can do right now. I think that's yeah, mine. So yes, we've been exporting to Uni Emirates Arab for our organic rice and black and red. But I think these tips for the Indonesian companies that probably wants to go to this market is actually, it's also easier for us to work with companies from Uni Emirates Arab that already have a footprint in Indonesia. Because how we enter the channel, they already have an operation, they already have footprints in Indonesia, we are already supplying for them, and they carry it forward to their Middle Eastern market. So this is the case with our partnership with Lulu Supermarket.
That's great. Congratulations on your achievement. We are really
long
happy
way to go. We still have a long way to go, though.
Yeah, but you are starting the process for selling your products here in the UAE. We know it's not easy, especially for companies, not only in Indonesia, in the Southeast Asia, as you mentioned, sometimes because they don't have the right channel sometimes, or the knowledge for reaching GCC market. They are losing many business opportunities here, because we already know that there you have really good products, you have really good quality, as well as a very competitive price. That is an amazing combination when you want to export, no, to other markets. You are also a key reference in terms of producing halal goods there. We hope that this type of initiatives help to facilitate also Indonesian companies the possibility to market their products in the UAE, as well as in other GCC or MENA region countries. Well, finally, we also have today another success case from Indonesia. We are also delighted to have today with us Mr. Beta Aprillianto. He is the Vice President of Indogal. Sorry for my Bahasa Indonesia. I know I need to improve my level, but I'm trying my best. Well, Mr. Aprillianto, Indogal is also doing a great job helping companies to sell, for example, halal meats in Indonesia. For the reason, we would like to start asking you, how did you achieve it? If are Indonesian companies ready to export to the GCC countries?
Thank you, Thomas. Assalamualaikum for the rest of you. It's glad to be here. Talking about Indogal, basically the company is importing frozen beef, and the only things that all the beef should be certified with halal, starting from the slaughterhouse. Yeah, so Indogal mainly imports from two countries, which are Spain and Australia, and every product coming to the country certified by the halal. Yeah, as the requirement for halal is more and more concerns, just like Ibu Helian Hilman says, that more people are more concerned on the halal, and Indonesia is the largest population of Muslims, so the market is there. So well, I don't think it's really require a good or skill to sell the halal. As long as your product is certified halal, then we can market it easily to the country. Yeah. And the halal itself, we got the supported from the Indonesian bodies like apa namanya, MUI, the Majelis of Indonesian Ulama, and also from the Ministry of Religious Affairs. Both they certify and then they accredit, they validate the halal certification. Yeah. So I think in terms of the opportunity to export, then another issue is that we have to match the the qualification according to the global standard. Yeah. Again, it will be not too difficult once we get the global standard, the benchmark. Once we get the halal product, just match, just align the spec to the global market, then we can export it. So, Pak Said, glad to have you here. So probably we can have further communication to explore any opportunity, whether we can do the business together. I think that's from me, Thomas.
Okay, thank you so much, Apilianto, for your thoughts, for sharing your comments with us. Now we are obviously finalizing this session, but before to giving the floor to Mr. Abdurrahim for the closing remarks, I would like to check because we have been receiving many questions from the attendees. Thank you so much for sharing your questions with us, and I will be choosing some of them, at least one, in order to give the right answer. For example, we have here one interesting one from Mr. Jamal Osman. He said, as a potential investor from North America, what is the best way for individuals like myself to support halal organizations in Indonesia? Maybe Mr. Priantoro could reply to him. Also, Mr. Mark. I think they are in a very good position and they have the knowledge to reply to him.
Yes, noted. So I'm still looking for the question, sir. What is the question? Can you repeat, sir, please?
Yeah, sure. I will repeat the question. He's an investor from North America.
Yes.
He wants to know how he could support or invest in halal organizations in Indonesia.
Okay, right. So yes, thank you very much for the question. Actually, Indonesia, like I said before, Indonesia is committed to build a growth that is inclusive and sustainable. So that's why, in addition to that, the government has already made the kind of, let's say, we call it here the. Let me check first. Yes, we would like to become like also mentioned that we would like to become the global hub for products. So if there should be any interest for foreign investors, right, to build investment in Indonesia, you can contact the nearest Indonesia missions, in North America, if I'm mistaken. You said North America, yes. Right? Yes, you can contact the nearest Indonesian mission in North America, or you can contact me, through my contact number if you are willing to share, Mr. Thomas.
Sure.
And then we would like to direct you suddenly to the authorities, to the authorities in Indonesia, such as the Coordinating Board of Investment in Indonesia, and also maybe we can all engage you to the Syariah economy, just like the BPGH that Mr. Pinos told us just before, right? I'm sorry, it's too long, but to make it short in English, it's quite difficult to mention, etc. And how about also, yes, just contact the missions or myself, and we will direct you to the concerned authorities. We also have the, like, if I haven't mentioned the Central Bank of Indonesia. They are also hosting the ISEF, Indonesia Sharia Economy Festival. So if there should be also any interest coming from you to join virtually this year, we will gladly to invite you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Priantoro, for your answer. Maybe I'm thinking also Mr. Abdurrahim could share some thoughts, because if he's a US investor interested in investing in the halal market, maybe the UAE is also a relevant or nice, interesting place for doing.
So, Tomas, thank you so much, Mr. Jamal. I have sent you a message to share your contact details, but in the interim, I would just like to give very brief insights that, one of the potential ways, given that, the distance and the proximity of large distances between North America and the Indonesian markets, as well as the Middle East, it makes sense to use Dubai and the UAE as a base, as a business hub to connect to the rest of the world. So from that perspective, we as the Dubai Airport Tourism Authority helped international investors such as yourself to establish their businesses out of Dubai. So we give the entire 360 ecosystem, the offices, the warehousing, the space, the logistical support for you to be able to connect. And then we also help you through the Halal Trade and Marketing Center. One of the services that they offer is access to distributors, retailers, and wholesalers for you to be able to actually push your product into the market. Having said that, if you allow me, Tomas, I would like to pass the floor quickly to Mark. I think he might have some comments.
Okay, sure. Thank you, Mr. Abdur. Well, from my side, what I think is a very nice initiative, and Indonesia is a country that really welcomes foreign investment. There is a lot of opportunities, especially in the halal food. I think it will be definitely a right decision because of the potential returns you can have from that investment. I have no doubt that they will be positive. Then, as Mr. Prihantoro was explaining, he already gave, I think, a very good reply. I would just like to add that maybe the new halal certifying body, the BPGPH, is new. Actually, I know they will be welcoming any kind of funds or any kind of help, because they were founded in the year 2017, so they are just starting. Before, there was a different certifying body, and of course, any new body always needs support. And then by the other side, for foreign investment, I always recommend to contact the coordinating body of foreign investment, that is the BKPM. There they will, the team is very friendly. They all speak fluent English, and they will be able to help you and guide you during any kind of investment, and also they will guide you through any opportunity. And then finally, well, just to make it short, if he would like to know more information, I'm also at his disposal to answer any question that he might have, and to help him through navigating with the different options that he will find. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Now I think we need to finalize this interesting session. I will give the floor to Mr. Abdurrahim, because he will be delivering the closing remarks. But after that, I would like to mention that we have been working hard for coming with this webinar, and we have attendees from across the world. Among them, I would like to highlight that today we have had the privilege to have His Excellency Isan Obut, the Secretary General of SMIC, as attendees, as well as Professor Sukoso, the head of Halal Product Assurance Agency at the Ministry of Religious Affairs in Indonesia, among the attendees. And I'm really happy to know that it has been an interesting session for the attendees. And we will be also from the HTMC generating more initiatives like this in order to promote and activate the halal trade worldwide. Now, Mr. Abdurrahim, please, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Tomas, and would like to add, Tomas, to what you said. Alhamdulillah, we've had a very global, good outreach participation here today. We have people who have joined in from North America, from South America as well, from Brazil, from Argentina. We have people who have joined in from Australia and New Zealand, as well as Indonesia, Malaysia, and Thailand, and European countries and the Middle East. So thank you for everybody for attending. It's been, an extremely very good interactions. Unfortunately, we have reached the end of this webinar. On behalf of the organizers, I would like to express my appreciation to the speakers, all of these team speakers. I'm sure we'll get chance, an opportunity to interact with you much more, and all the panelists for their valuable contributions, especially to His Excellency Mr. Hussein Baghis, the Ambassador at the Embassy of Indonesia in the United Arab Emirates, as well as to all the attendees, most importantly, who have decided to spend part of their valuable time for joining us today. I'm sure that this event will strengthen and increase the trade and investment flows between the United Arab Emirates and Indonesia, as well as generate opportunity and economic prosperity for companies in both regions. There were some more questions that are being poised, but unfortunately, we don't have the time to answer all of them. We'll take note of them and our team will come back to you. Wishing you all a very nice day ahead. Thank you again once more for joining and looking forward to much more collaboration in the future. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Thank you.
Thank you so